WeirRoadRoo.com. Let's talk silver and silver manipulation. Where we stand, where we're going, will it ever end? Really interesting stuff going on behind the scenes, especially with the new Trump freedom to attack the bad guys. Whether or not I do believe it. The silver bad guys are part of the deep state, definitely in cahoots with the market manipulation side. It gets a little fuzzy how much Trump is in on the market manipulation. Absolutely for the stock market and all that. But gold and silver, we will find out in the near future, I think, because now his handcuffs are off and he can do what he wants to do as president, as before he was constrained by these stupid investigations. But if it is true that he will be allowed to do whatever he wants in the markets, we will see what happens to gold and silver. Of course, silver is the death knell of the banking cabal. As we see, like right here, you got the 20-year price of silver. This is 100% control with a computer program. It's really easy to do. This spike right here from 20 to 50 was Bill Daley being put as the chief of staff for Barack Obama. A complete deep state operation that created this artificial bear market that we are still in today, believe it or not. And computers are absolutely driving the price with derivatives. And all kinds of derivatives. So derivatives are not just COMEX and LBMA. Derivatives are share prices of mining companies. Derivatives are shares in the SLV. Those are all derivative prices of some underlying asset. Maybe an underlying asset. In the case of SLV, I believe that all that silver has been rehypothecated in different places. 1 ounce of silver is probably pledged to 10 different parties for various reasons and purposes, mainly controlled by JP Morgan, which I'll show you in 1 second. But right now we stand at, let's see, where do we stand? $15.34, ridiculous price of silver. No silver mining companies are making any money. Remember, you don't need silver to drive the price to zero on the COMEX, on the LBMA, criminal exchanges. And just to prove it is criminal exchanges, back in December, our friend Bart Chilton talked with Andrew Weir about gold and silver manipulation and revealed a couple of really cool things. Listen to this interview, and then I'll comment as we go.
For years, there's been rumor, innuendo, and manipulation in silver and gold markets. As for silver, there's actually been some evidence of manipulation, or at least attempted manipulation. Our next guest was actually the silver whistleblower back when he came to my office at the old Financial Regulatory.
So right off, here's a regulator who says, yes, there has been silver manipulation that has never been admitted to by the regulators, by the CFTC. Even though there's whistleblowers, even though Deutsche Bank's been busted, HSB has been busted, everybody's been busted rigging the silver price, CFTC has never said, yes, it is a rigged market.
Job at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Andrew Weir, the CEO of Global Gold Star. Andrew joins us from the UK. Andrew, welcome back.
Bart, it's great to be with you. And I want to say thank you you were the only commissioner to publicly draw attention to position concentration. And really, this was the key focus to halt market manipulation. And let me just say, you were the only commissioner to ever answer public emails. Appreciated. Thank you very much.
Well, here's the other. Yeah. Come on, Andrew. Yeah, he was the only commissioner to call attention to it, but it's just gone more off the charts for the top 8 concentrated silver holders. Ridiculous.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Andrew. I wish we could have done better back then, but it turns out that some of the news that I want to talk with you about now involves that very same sort of stuff. So over the years, there's been this, innuendo about JP Morgan gaining these massive positions, and some of that actually goes back, Andrew, to when Bear Stearns collapsed in earlier, I guess it's spring of 2008. All of those positions were transferred over too, because JP Morgan bought them. They actually took some of the traders over with them, and it created this position that was so large that JP actually had to get a waiver from my old agency.
That was never disclosed to the public, by the way. The silver short from Bear Stearns to JP Morgan was never disclosed to the public. Nor was this waiver of criminality. That's what the waiver is for, a waiver of criminality that was given to JP Morgan.
And they were given a time certain. I got to be careful what I say. I don't know what I can say and what I can't, but
I got to be careful what I say because it's still a secret. Unbelievable.
No, they were given a time certain at which they could get out of those positions. They didn't do it quickly enough. But there's a former JP Morgan trader who has now pled guilty to exactly that, to manipulating markets. What do you make of it, Andrew?
Just insane. And this interview, go check it out. It's on RTTV in December. Andrew Maguire talks gold and silver and Kinesis, which is a crypto-backed or a metal-backed crypto. I don't believe in metal-backed cryptos at all. I mean, I think it's a ridiculous thought to add third-party liability to a crypto or even to gold and silver. Why? If you want to buy gold and silver, buy gold and silver. If you want to buy a crypto, buy a crypto. Neither of them need any backing by anything else. All it does is add third-party risk, which takes away from the value of the coin, in my opinion. But check out this interview, and it's just infuriating knowing that Bart Chilton knew all along, and he goes on to say that, well, we didn't have enough votes. Since when do you need enough votes to uphold the law? It's not about voting. It's about upholding the law. It was insane. Insane days. It's a good article from Gold Core on silver prices to surge. JP Morgan has acquired a massive quantity of physical silver. A lot of people saying, oh, no, they don't have it. They do have it. They couldn't get that much. Well, obviously, from their stockpiles, they have that much. The question is, did they get that for the SLV, which they are the custodian? And by the way, BlackRock that owns SLV, I think they still own it, is completely on the hook for criminality within JP Morgan as it relates to silver. And the reason is that BlackRock is in charge has the fiduciary responsibility of holding the silver for SLV, so that every share of SLV out there is backed by 1 ounce of silver. And they aren't. Obviously, with the naked shorting, they aren't at all. You shouldn't be able to short any shares of SLV because that is completely against what the prospectus says, that every ounce, every share out there, every owner of a share has 1 ounce of silver backing it, which is a lie. But nobody does anything because you can't upset the apple cart. So I think a lot of this, at least the stuff that you can see in the JP Morgan warehouse, look what happened. This is from when Bart Chilton was talking about when they took over Bear Stearns. This is from 2011. Look what the JP Morgan warehouse, look how much it's climbed. Some people say, oh yeah, no, that's not all JP Morgans. No, it's not all JP Morgans. But the vast majority is, just by looking at the data that Ted Butler's looked at. He looks at the monthly reports of deliveries. Who's taking delivery? JP Morgan, JP Morgan, JP Morgan, JP Morgan. Absolutely 100%. Vast majority of the 100 million ounces. And remember, the Hunt brothers got busted for holding 100 million ounces for trying to corner the market. Warren Buffett got busted, behind the scenes for holding 130 million ounces and was forced to sell it, to give it to the SLV because of his problems with General Re that mysteriously went away as soon as he sold his silver to SLV. So yes, it is a fraud. It is a crime. It is a crime against humanity what they've been doing. Will it end? Yes, I think it will end. I don't know what day, but it's getting closer and closer. The reason I think it's getting closer and closer, they would not have allowed a whistleblower to come forward about JP Morgan, and it would have gone through the CFTC and they would have buried it. Instead, it's going through the Department of Justice, and they have not buried it. Not at all. And it was an identified JP Morgan trader that says his bosses taught him to rig the silver and gold market. So it's insane. I expect a lot of volatility this year in silver, so hang on to your hats. Interesting thing, if you go through the iShares Silver Trust, it is full of Swiss cheese, that perspective document. And they hold a lot of silver. The largest storehouse, I believe, in the world, besides the secret JP Morgan silver. JP Morgan should not be involved in trading silver, should not be in charge of anything related to silver if they're going to be the trustee, the custodian of all this silver. because all it does is give them the ability to rehypothecate the silver over and over and over again in rigged markets. And of course, BlackRock knows exactly what's going on, and so does the CFTC, and so does the Treasury Department, and so does Trump. Everybody knows it's just required to keep the system going. So right now, the SLV owns. If you own a share of SLV, you'll probably get zero, nothing. When it comes out that JP Morgan was rigging the silver market and was the custodian of the largest silver trust in the world, yeah, that's going to go away instantly. And very easily they can sell all shares of SLV and crash it because you don't have access to that silver. Only JP Morgan does. And JP Morgan will be in trouble and probably get thrown in the middle of the reallocation of wealth after the banks crash. So if you have SLV, anything in SLV, get it out now. Go buy yourself some real deal. Get real silver. And JP Morgan doesn't even have this stuff in inventory, I'll guarantee you that. And if the stuff they do have has been rehypothecated 10 times. And they can do it. According to the prospectus, here's the custody of the trust silver. Following is a description of the material provisions of the custodian agreement between the trustee and JP Morgan Chase, London branch, as the custodian under which the custodian will hold the silver that belongs to the trust. It's very lawyerese, but very clear that they have 50 outs. The custodian will receive and hold silver that is deposited for the account of the trust. The custodian will release silver from the trust account when instructed by writing, and not otherwise. Does it say the custodian cannot rehypothecate this silver? They must hold it completely allocated to the trust. No, it does not. And now in the ongoing paragraph, you're going to see why that's important. The custodian may, anytime a lawyer says may, there's something going on. The custodian may keep the trust silver at its vault premises in England or New York, or at the vaults of any sub-custodian in England or New York, unless otherwise agreed upon. May, or may not. It does not say. They may keep it. The custodian may use sub-custodians to discharge its obligations to the trust under the custodian agreement. The custodian is required to use reasonable care in the appointment of any sub-custodians. Any sub-custodian must be a member of the LBMA, which is a criminal organization. The use of sub-custodians does not affect the custodian's liability to the trustee under the custodian agreement. Let's see what the liability is. The custodian has agreed to use reasonable care in the performance of its duties to the trust and will only be responsible for any loss or damage suffered to the trust as a direct result of the custodian's negligence, fraud, or willful default in the performance of its duties. The custodian's liability is limited to the market value of any silver lost. So not the market value of the silver, of any silver lost, and the amount of any balance held on an unallocated basis at the time of the custodian's negligence. Why would JP Morgan hold any unallocated silver as the custodian of the silver trust, SLV? Fraud or default? Yes. Why? Why would they have any unallocated? There would be no reason to have any unallocated silver. If you are the trustee of the custodian, all that silver should be allocated 100% without hypothecation benefits to SLV. It keeps going. None of the custodian, its directors, employees, agents, or affiliates will incur any liability to the trust if, by reason of any law or regulation, so nationalization, you name it, any law or regulation, or act of God, terrorism, or other terrorism, obviously, you had the 9/11 stuff. That was before SLV was formed, but still, remember what was in the basement of Towers 1 and 2, all that silver from the comics and gold that disappeared. Or other circumstances beyond the custodian's control. The custodian is prevented or forbidden from, or would be subject to any civil or criminal penalty account of, or is delayed in performing its obligations under the custodian agreement. The custodian has agreed to indemnify the trustee for any loss liability directly resulting from a breach of the custodian's reps and warranties. The trust has agreed to indemnify the custodian for any loss incurred in connection with the custodian agreement, other than losses due to the negligence. The custodian may hold silver for the account of the trustee on an unallocated basis. Give me a reason why. I don't know any reason. However, the custodian will take reasonable steps to allocate silver bars to the account of the trust so that no more than 1,100 troy ounces of silver is held for the trust account on an unallocated basis at the end of each business day. Custodian will take responsible steps to, they don't have to, they'll take responsible steps to allocate silver bars to the account of the trust so that no more than 1,100 troy ounces of silver is held for the trust account on an unallocated basis at the end of each day by the custodian. That's pretty easy. That's paper shuffling. Sorry, got booted out. Don't know why. Anyway, it goes through a big whole Swiss cheese world of contract avoidance of actual requirements for a custodian. A custodian's job should be simple. You hold the silver in the name of the trust. You don't need unallocated silver. You don't need all this bullshit surrounding it. Unless you're using it for something else, which they are, which is criminal. So what do I think is going to happen to silver? I think one day, and hopefully the freeing up of the Trump administration to do their job, one day we're going to see the release of silver, release of gold, release of cryptos from massive manipulation. It will probably coincide with the destruction of the fiat monetary system, because you cannot have gold and silver freely priced if you're going to try to run the same unbacked fiat debt-based system. And that system is way too long for this world. Computer manipulation has held it together, and ultimately computer manipulation will destroy it. Or maybe even just the removal. Again, keep an eye on Deutsche Bank. Keep an eye on Deutsche Bank. With Brexit coming up and Deutsche Bank trying to merge with a company that everybody's like, why merge? There's no reason to merge unless you're trying to cover stuff up, which is exactly what they're trying to do. So we will see. Just hang tight, hang tough. This is the last week of the Theta giveaway. People are wondering, well, what's going on with Theta? The price went down to 10 cents or 11 cents on Theta from 14 or whatever it was. Yeah, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. But don't forget, you got 5-to-1 Theta Fuel. Theta Fuel is trading at 2 cents. So actually, the Theta that you had is 20 cents, where it was 14. So everything's, put it in perspective. If you want to get some Theta for yourself, for the rest of this week, I'm giving away 100 Theta and 500 Theta Fuel, and that's it. And that's it. That's all I'm giving away as far as Theta, and I think we're going to go to Veritasium next, which is another cheap one. I like giving away the cheap ones because they're going to appreciate a lot more for you. How's that? Again, if you want to get your Theta and your silver coin, go to roadtoguru.com, hit subscribe today, and do it. And don't forget to send me your public address of your mobile Theta wallet so I can send you your 100 Theta and 500 Theta Fuel. All right, this is Big Square, roadtoguru.com. Buy silver. Talk to you later.